Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm looking forward to sharing with you today. So thanks for joining with me, whether you're joining live through Facebook, watching the recording later or watching this on YouTube. So I hope that my creations today gives you some inspiration and some ideas. And today we're going to try and keep it more simple. I'm going to be using the S.I.P technique. So S.I.P stands for S.I.P, so S is for stamps, I is for ink, and P is for paper. So in this case, our paper is really cardstock, but just, using some form of kind of paper to stamp with. So not trying to make it fancy, although you can step it up if you wish. But I'm going to show you how to kind of make it a card quickly and easily. And often with my card making, I love to make fancy fold cards. I like to step it up, add layers, add embellishments, add ribbon, add all those, sparkles, all those kind of things. But sometimes we need to keep it simple. We just want something simple, easy to give to someone. So that's what we're doing today. And to be honest, sometimes I find it more difficult to sort of step it down and to keep to those basics. But I'm going to show you a card today using the Seaside Bay stamp set. So it's a nice kind of beachy scene with shells and birds. And it was one that we did at Coffee and Cards at the beginning of this month. So I thought I'd share that with you too. So at Coffee and Cards, which is held locally at the Vero Cafe in Auckland, in Unsworth Heights, I do just an hour session of a couple of note cards using more sort of basic techniques and things because obviously we're limited on our time and the resources of what I can take. But it's a fun time of getting together and making cards. So I thought I would share the card that I made there with you today because there's a few little techniques and things that you will hopefully find useful and maybe inspiring as well. So let's get started. I'll turn my camera around and show you the card, and I'll show you like variation stepped up versions of it too. All right, so the set that we are using today is the Seaside Bay set. So this is a quite good one for New Zealand. We love our beaches and that kind of thing. So we've got the shells and the sand and the birds and some things, which is quite nice. So I'm just using the stamp set. There is a die set that goes with it and it complements it. So like you can cut out the bird, you can cut out the shell and things. You can even cut out the three birds. And there's extra things as well, like this die cut here and some seaweed and other shells too. So you can cut out some of these things, not all of them. I think the crabs there as well. And then there's extra things. But today, like I said, it's S.I.P, stamps, inks, paper. So we're going to use the stamps. We're using ink and obviously using paper, in this case, cardstock and things. All right, so to make this card, I'm using note cards. So if you're not familiar with those, that's what I use for Coffee and Cards. So they come in a pack like this. So they're a pack of basic white or very vanilla, and there's also craft. So you get 20 cards and envelopes together, and these are the vanilla ones. And size-wise, they are 5 1/8 by 3 5/8 inches, or if you're in centimeters, which I am, 13 by 9.2. So they're a little bit smaller than a standard size card. I'll see if I can show you. So this is a standard size card, but not too much smaller. But it comes with an envelope and is ready to go. So you can get those in packs. And there's also the craft ones too. So that comes with a bonus. So that comes with the 20 cards, and it also comes with a box. So I did that last week. If you missed last week's video, go to the videos tab of my Facebook page or check out YouTube, and you will see this box that I put together and these cards that I made. So you've got note cards in craft, in vanilla, and in white. All right, so for today's card, I'm making it using the white. All right, so I have a piece of paper that is 8 centimeters by 11.8. All right, now you can kind of do this in any order. I tend to just do my sentiment last, but in some ways it actually pays to do it first, because if it's wonky or something, you can turn it over And if you've done all the other stamping, it's a bit of a pain. But I will show you a little way to figure it out if you do mess up the stamping afterwards. So I need to angle it up just a little bit. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So I've stamped it in Early Espresso, which is a slightly darker colour than the rest of the card. One of the reasons I did it in a different colour, I could have used soft suede, that would be quite nice, was with coffee and cards we're passing things around. So I want one colour with one stamp kind of thing, which makes it kind of easier. All right, so let's start off with some stamping, some sand at the bottom. So I'm going to use some crumb cake and stamp. Actually, no, I think we should do the shells first now that I think about it. So the stamp isn't quite long enough for the whole thing. So we're going to stamp some there and maybe just a couple more like so. Probably could have done the other way. And then we are going to kind of do a few dotty bits around as well. Some, what do you call it, full strength, and then some kind of stamping off. And then we want to do our birds. So our birds I'm doing in soft suede. So soft suede is one of the colours I love, but it is retiring. So it's sad sometimes to see these colours going, but exciting new colours are coming too. So I don't want it too high because I want some sky and I don't want my birds kind of walking in the sky. So about like that. Is that about the same height? Oh yeah, slightly lower, but that's okay. All right, and then with my crumb cake, I'm going to get my blending brush and blend on the bottom half. So notice I started off and I'm just doing a circular motion, and you can always go back for more. But not so much with this crumb cake, but with the blue. If I started on the page, it would give a blob. So it's not really a nice blob. But there we go. Okay, so I want to make sure that my birds are not walking in the sky. All right, and if you push a bit harder, obviously you get a bit more ink and things. So I'll go a little bit higher. So that was the bird stamped in soft suede, the rest, the sponging and the stamping in crumb cake. And my thank you or my sentiment is in Early Espresso. So the sentiment I've used is from the Summer Shade stamp set. And I quite like the size of the happy birthday and the thank you. It is retiring, but making use of it while I can. I mean, I'll still hang on to it. It's one of my favourite sets. Now I'm going to use Balmy Blue. So I'm going to do some sponging in the sky. So you watch what happens when I put that down. You get that kind of blob. So I want to start off my page and sponge. Let's move that one out of the way. So you can see that I've got a scrap piece underneath because I'm going over the edges. So make sure you've got something underneath. All right. So just as much or as little as you like. And that's basically it. That's our stamping. So I'm just going to, there's a couple of patches where it's a bit too white. There we go. So if you're happy with that, then you're just going to adhere it. I like to sort of frame it with something. So we've used the crumb cake. So I've got a slightly larger piece of crumb cake like this. And the size of that is 8.5 centimeters by 12.3. They're kind of the standard sizes I use with coffee and cards. So we're just adhering that like so, and then putting it on the card front. So these are already scored. So just fold it, make sure it lines up, and then crease it. We don't need that anymore. And then we're going to put that down. So this is literally stamp ink paper. Very simple. And if you bear with me, I will show you some other options. So this one here, I have stamped the happy birthday and raised it up. So it's got some mini dimensionals or dimensionals underneath. It wasn't planned. I stamped my sentiment and it was a bit wonky and it didn't look good. So I just stamped on a scrap piece of paper, sponged over it, and then raised it up. So that just adds a little bit of dimension to it. Another one that I did was I put some twine around it. and that just sort of adds some element. Obviously it's not stamp, ink and papers because we're adding twine, but it is just kind of adds to it, which I quite like that too. All right, so here's one I've prepared earlier. I'm going to stamp a sentiment on, and I'll just show you how I put my twine on. Hopefully it'll be straight. Yay, perfect. Okay, so I need some tape. And I have a feeling this one is nearly finished. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll see. Here we go. Perhaps it doesn't want to work on that side. Why is it not working? Put some tape on. All right, if not, we'll use a glue dot. Okay, so I'm going to get my twine, which is right in front of me, but I can't see it. And basically what we're going to do is adhere it, and I need to a bit lower. Go across the card, and rather than wind it round and we've got all that waste, we're going to stick it down, loop it around, and come back. I like to sort of overlap them so they sort of cross over, and like so. Now that tape on the other side is not working. Let me just grab some other tape. I had a class today and all my stuff is out in the dining room, so glue dots, we'll use a glue dot. Okay, improvising here. Pick it up with that and put it here. Okay, so it's clever trick with the, what do you call it, linen thread, to make you not use too much up. So back we go. It is a bit easier if you use tape, but it's in the other room. Okay, trim it off, and then I will tie a bow. We're getting right to the end of this one, so hopefully it'll be just enough. So let's just adjust it, tie a bow, and then we just put it onto our card base like before. All right, and then I've got a little surprise to show you after this. Well, actually, a couple of cards to show you, and then a little surprise. Okay, so there we go. Same as before, adhere it onto here, and then onto our card base, and then we're all done. Okay, so here are 3 variations of the same card. So I'm going to do it this way. So this one is very simple, stamp, ink and papers. This one we have raised this up, and then our third one we've added some twine. And of course, you know, stamp your envelope as well. It's quite nice to do. So they are nice, simple cards. So I'll show you a couple of other cards that have used the stamp set in a more, what's the word? I don't know. Advanced way, fancy way, and including the dies and things. So this is what we taught at Extravaganza. So it was designed, some inspiration from our team leader, and then designed by Sylvia. So you can see that it's got the bird which has been cut out, and some of the seaweed and a bit of texture and things. This is from a different set, and then colour and things, the gold behind, and then, oh, this hasn't been adhered in, but and then an inside for it. So that's obviously, you know, a very stepped up version, and with the ribbon too, or ruffled there. Another card that we Sylvia taught at our retreat was this one, and it's partially cut. It's stamped on there and then cut around, which is a very cool technique. So yeah, quite a different sort of card, but more advanced, and some embellishments and things on them too. And a while ago for my team, so other demonstrators that are in my team, we shared cards, and this was a waterfall card that someone made. I believe it was Deirdre. I hope I've got that right. So isn't that cool? So that's using the die cut, and she's got a little pearl inside. The next one's got the birds and the shells, and then the crab, and then you're a pearl, rarer and precious. So that's the waterfall card technique. So that is, the waterfall card technique is one of the things that I've got on my blog that I share. So if you want to check out how to make that, I think that is such a cool card. And in my April school holiday class, I did a waterfall card with the kids and they really liked it too. So there's the stepped up cards, and these were our more simple S.I.P cards. So hopefully that gives you lots of inspiration and lots of ideas using the Seaside Bay stamp set, and then some of them obviously use the dies too. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask any questions and stuff. And what I do want to show you is something very exciting. Move those out the way, and that is hang on, it's coming. Got a dimensional stuck to it. Look at this, the new annual catalogue. So I can't open it, can't show you inside until it starts on the 2nd of May. But demonstrators got sent them, and mine arrived this week. And also my boxes of catalogues have arrived for my customers. So it will take me a few days to put stickers on them and address label them and get them ready to send. So hopefully I'll start on that in the weekend and get that out next week sometime, or over the next week or so. So hopefully it'll arrive, before around the time of the new catalogue. So it starts on the 2nd of May. So make the most of the current catalogue and what's available and the last chance products, because some of those things will be going and then they'll be gone for good. So if you're not on my mailing list, or you haven't ordered through me and you'd like a copy of this catalogue, get in contact with me. I'll try and share a link where you can put your details and I can send a complimentary copy to you. And if you have been ordering with me in the last 6 months or so, then you will be receiving one. If you're local, I've got classes this week, so you'll be receiving one at your classes. So if you're in Auckland, I'll give them to you in person or at Coffee and Cards. If you're out of Auckland and I'm sending them to you, then they'll be in the mail later next week. All right, thank you for your time today. Like I say, a simple card, but sometimes we need to just step back, use those techniques, the S.I.P techniques, stamps, ink, paper, and make some cards. And I'm sure someone would, love receiving these cards too. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to seeing you again next week. If you've got any questions or if you've got any ideas, then let me know. My pre-order for the annual catalogue didn't arrive, so I couldn't share that with you today. But maybe next week, we will see. I can't show you inside the catalogue yet, but I can show the product when it arrives. And then you can purchase it from the 2nd of May. All right, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you again. Bye.